going on, Buffalo State Hockey? My name is Evan Harrington. I'm here with men's head hockey coach Steve Murphy for episode 20 of Mondays with Murph. The 20th episode, we're here right before the playoffs. I mean, what is the feeling of getting to 20 episodes right at the end of the regular season going into the postseason? It's kind of just a milestone mark, I could say.
Yeah, started week 20 and playoff hockey, so it's an exciting time.
All right, so before we get into talking about the playoffs that will be starting this Wednesday, let's kind of just recap the final two games of the regular season that the team played. And the first one was this past weekend against the Oswego State Lakers, where the team did end up losing 7-3. Just what went into the loss versus the Lakers in your mind?
I thought we had, a good 35 minutes of hockey, and then they got two late ones at the end of the second, and then we were obviously kind of behind the eight ball heading into the third period there, and I thought we started actually pretty good, and generated a couple rushes there, and wasn't able to capitalize, and then they got a goal that was, you go back and watch the film, it was a foot to 2 feet off sides, and just a terrible non-call, and essentially that was it. So tough to come back from after that.
All right, so now let's move on to the second game that was played this past weekend, and that was against the Cortland Red Dragons. A very tight, competitive game overall, but the team ended up losing 3-1 versus the Red Dragons. What went into the loss versus the Red Dragons?
Again, I thought we started pretty well, and it was a good first maybe 30-ish minutes, and then we just got into penalty trouble in the second period. We took 9 penalty minutes in that period, and you're not going to escape. I think we were probably lucky to escape being down 2-1 and out of that period. And again, you're trailing going into the third period. You're trying to come from behind again, and ultimately weren't able to do that. Gave up a late goal in the third, and so now let's just turn the page and go from there.
All right, so one player that played really well in that game is freshman goaltender Liam Gross. He saved 40 of 43 shots. I thought he had a phenomenal performance himself individually. Can you just talk about the development of Gross? Being here for just only about 2 months, and he's really stepped up into the role that you've put him into.
Yeah, I mean, obviously losing Emil hurt there, and so it was a good opportunity for him, and some experience for him to go into on the road and play those 2 games, and a chance for him to maybe try and kickstart off his college career and give us a feel for maybe what he can bring heading into next year and stuff like that. And ultimately, we obviously would have loved to get him at least 1 or 2 wins there, but yeah, I thought he gave us a chance to win probably both games. We just kind of fell short for him in the end.
All right, so what is the feeling of knowing that you have 2 of the top guys in the SUNYAC conference, being Nikita Kozyrev and Joe Glamos, both having 31 points respectively, Kozyrev having 23 in the SUNYAC, just knowing that you have 2 top guys like that, what is the feeling as a coach having?
Yeah, I mean Nikita's obviously been a top player for us and in the conference for the time that he's been here, and he'll be missed significantly in our lineup next season. Obviously Joe's really established himself as a dominant player in our conference, and so it's good. It's a nice little punch to have, and I think it's exciting just for our program that I don't know the last time we finished with 2 of the top 3 scorers, probably never, in the SUNYAC conference. So it's exciting. It's nice to know that you have some weapons that maybe some other teams are trying to key against. And then obviously those aren't the only guys that we have that can do some damage, but those 2 guys had really good regular seasons, and if we're going to win Wednesday night, we need them to be our best players again. All
right, so the final question before we get into some postseason talk, just not the way you wanted to end the regular season with a 4-game losing skid, but overall I'd say the team had a really successful regular season. What is just your overall thoughts with the end of the regular season now here?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you only win 5 games last season, and I think that was just tough for everybody. And yeah, I would say at one point we were sitting 13-8-0, and very excited just the possibilities. Obviously we clinched a playoff spot, and so that was great. You close the regular season with 4 straight losses. I don't think that's how obviously any of our staff or players envisioned it, but at the end of the day, you finished the regular season with above 500, coming off the season that you had last year. I think it was progress. I think the core players, the guys that will be returning next year, hopefully can take a lot of the lessons and that they learned this year and implement that into their game, into our team's success next year and stuff like that. But now it's playoff hockey. It just the 13 wins, the 12 losses, none of that stuff matters. It all comes down to one game. So it was obviously a step in the right direction, but we're now focused on trying to win a playoff game.
The big thing that matters is now that the postseason is here, and that is the goal of all the players and the coaches on staff. And now that it's finally here, we'll get into some playoff talk. We'll be taking on the Cortland Red Dragons this Wednesday. The team is 1-1 against them on the season, and now playing them for a second straight in back-to-back games. Just what are some of the advantages to playing a team for the third time this season?
Well, I tell you, we get our starting goalie back, and so that'll be a huge advantage for us. Obviously, there were a couple of guys that were out with some bumps and bruises last game, and one or maybe a handful of guys that we rested and stuff like that. So we'll be close to full strength. So that'll be an advantage for us as well, just to have our core defensemen back in there and things like that. Again, it's the first game against them, the game that just happened on Saturday. In my opinion, I don't think any of that matters. It just all comes down to one game, and you need your top guys to be the best players on the ice for that night. You need your bottom six guys to keep the puck out of the net and just kind of get out of the night even and give you some valuable shifts. You need to win the special teams game, and I think if you do a number of those things, you're going to find yourself in the win category and then moving on to play Saturday. So it's an exciting time. I think it's a player's time. Obviously, as coaches, we're going to try and implement some things. It's just as far as what we want to do. We're not going to really deviate from our game a whole lot, but we're just going to kind of go out and we're going to let the players play. And at the end of the day, we'll try and guide them through a playoff game, but they're going to have to go out and win the hockey game.
All right, as the head coach, how do you prepare your guys for with a game of such magnitude against Cortland this Wednesday?
I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's just another game. Obviously it's playoff implications, and everybody wants to win playoff games. Like, you're playing meaningful hockey, and that's important. But I don't know. I'm sure guys will be nervous before the game. I don't know. You've done something for 20 years. I don't think there's any sense in being nervous. Just go out and play. Our guys know how to play the right way, and they know what we need to do to be successful. So I think if you're prepared and you're feeling confident in yourself and confident in your team, there's nothing to be nervous about.
All right, that has been another episode of Mondays with Murph. 20 episodes officially in the books. I just want to say thank you to everyone who has tuned in every Monday for 20 straight weeks to watch myself and head coach Steve Murphy talk some Buffalo State Bengals hockey. And we will see you guys next Monday for another episode of Mondays with Murph.